Hello, creative ones. This is Robin Dudley House, the Artsy Bohemian. I am in my studio in Los Angeles, California, and I have a gift for you. It's my secret resource guide for the unconventional journal and paper crafter. These resources are resources that I use all the time, and they've taken years to accumulate. So those of you who have never signed up for my online school or who have never signed up for any of my classes, this is a gift for you. Those of you who already belong to my online school probably already have this. You'll get an email once you sign up, the link below, and you can download this for yourself and then print it out like I have. I've made it into this cute little pamphlet. Now, since you're signing up for my newsletter, just know that you won't be bombarded by emails, only inspiration. Thank you. So, hello again, it's me. We're doing part 2 of the adorable little rose ribbon embroidery doll, Sun Bonnet Sue. And I wanted to show you a couple of other books that I've had for a long time, probably since the 90s, mid-90s or so. This one is by Mary Jo Heine. Some of these might still be in print. Lots of lace projects and directions on ribbon embroidery and embroidery in general. She is still doing ribbon embroidery. She has classes on Craftsy and she has a YouTube channel, so I'll leave a link down below because she's a great resource to buy ribbon, silk ribbon from. She dyes it herself. This is another one of her books. Like I said, I've had them for a super long time. All kinds of fun, pretty projects in these books. And then this one is amazing. This is very historical. Candace Kling, very well known. And one of my friends, Arlene Baker, who lives not too far from me, has some of her pieces in here as well that she's collected. She's a collector. Some of you probably know who Arlene Baker is. She's known for her ribbons, or her roses and flowers that she makes from ribbons. I've taken a class from her learning how to make velvet flowers from old molds that you heat. And so there's not very many people that do that. I think it's her son that makes the molds out of some kind of metal that can be heated, and then you can make the old-fashioned velvet flowers from them. So this one's amazing. Lots and lots and lots of eye candy. So those are some fun resources. So now what we're going to do today is we're going to make a couple of leaves. Nothing fancy. We're using this variegated ribbon. And I'm not sure if it's silk. It might be silk, but it's super tiny. I don't know if it's probably 4mm. It looks like I bought it by the yard and then just had it put on here. So it's already been straightened. I did the little secure end here for the ribbon, and this is just a ribbon stitch. It's something that's, I guess you can use for lots of different things, but we're going to be using it as some leaves, some sprays. So maybe we'll do one down here. So you're going to bring it up. Ooh, what's happened here? It's not going through. There we go. And you want to lay your ribbon flat. And I'm going to just kind of make it a little poofy and then pierce it. So wherever you're piercing it is the length that your leaf will be. So you could vary the stitches. And then you just have to be very careful. Don't pull it too tight. Otherwise it loses its Oh, I did something wrong here. Well, we'll see how this comes out. And it just kind of leaves this interesting, cute little leaf here. I made it a little bit too poofy, so I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to make this one a little bit tighter. Maybe we'll make it a little bit longer. And by pulling this, it kind of makes a point at the tip, which, did that happen? I might have to practice this a little bit more. Maybe I'm going to come up and do like a little stitch over that. And then there's another stitch called a lazy daisy that you can do. And, no, that's okay. It doesn't look the best, but I'm going to go a little bit closer in here to make another smaller one. So I'm going to try something called the lazy daisy. So basically you bring your ribbon up and then you go back really close to where you penetrated it first, but you don't go in the same hole. It's kind of like a chain stitch, I think. Oh boy, I just pulled something. Oh, I don't know how that happened. So I just wound off cutting it because it was stuck somehow. So I'm going to try again, going back through there. I really don't know what happened, so. And don't worry, all of this, I'm going to trim this after I'm done, and then I'm going to glue down another piece of felt, probably on top of the pinafore. So this will all be covered. I'm not sure I like these leaves. I'm going to do another one over on this side to see if that helps. Oops, that's not what I want to do. I'm going back up close to where I came in, and hopefully so now I made this loop. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And I'm going to go through the loop from behind. And I'm not piercing the ribbon. I'm going through the loop. And I'm probably going to have to get rid of all this stuff back here soon. and then bringing it down so it kind of captures it on the other side. That's a little bit better. I think I'm going to do a French knot when in doubt. So like a nice little filler. I'm just going to do 2. Oh, I accidentally pierced it, so that's better. Yeah, I'm not sure. I might do maybe one more over here. I do like the little bullion, the French knot. Maybe I'll do a French knot here. And by the way, if you don't have ribbon, you can do, especially these little French knots, you can just do lots of clusters of French knots, because that's all this is right here. This original one. All of those are just little tiny French knots. So you can just do that and make these cute little clusters of flowers. With just, you know, regular embroidery floss. Did I pierce it again? I keep piercing it, I think. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to practice those leaves. I think I'll do another bullion over here if I can. I'm not sure I can do that because this is getting, I didn't cut a whole bunch of this. Maybe I'll just do a tiny little leaf. I'll kind of do it on the side and see how that goes. Yeah. And then maybe one over here. Just done with the leaf here, and I'm just going to weave it a couple times in the back and then cut it. I'm going to do a little bit more of this really pretty pale blue color, kind of straighten it out. And I'm going to do a little, try not to pierce the thread there because it tends to pull if you do that on the stem that I did here. I think I'm going to do another little bud like I did over here. I'm going to do a French knot on this side. Just going to do 2 wraps. Actually, I'm going to go this way. Not sure if I can do it, but I'm going to try to make a bigger blue flower, maybe over here. I can barely do it. That'll be good. And then I'm going to add this flower, and I think I'll be done with that. I think I probably should do 1 or 2 over on this side in this color just to tie it all together. So I'm going to weave this just 1 or more times in here. I don't really and all of these little bits I've been told can be used. I remember somebody when I took a class saying to save all these little bits, so I guess you can start making a little pile of them, and also you can make little flowers with those. And I'm going to cut this one because I'm going to glue all of this, so it's going to be okay. And then I will make 1 or 2 more little buds over here, maybe interspersed here. Maybe I'll do one up here. So nice to have all this noise when I film. Oh, sometimes I wish I didn't live in the city. I only moved here because my husband wanted to go to school in LA, and I never intended to stay here, but 30 some odd years later, we're still here. And there just never seems to be a good time to film, no matter what. There's always going to be some kind of noise where I live. And maybe one down here. What do we do right here? This is really relaxing. And if you just keep it to a few stitches like I'm doing, it's not stressful once you get it going here. It's really just a matter of being able to figure out how to handle the ribbon thread and the piece all at once, because we're not working in an embroidery hoop and it's kind of a small piece. It's just a little bit fiddly, but because the felt is stiff, it's not that hard really. It's not moving, you know, the fabric's not moving. Just love these. Oh, they're so cute. Maybe we'll do one more down here. And then we'll be done. Or not. Doesn't look like I have enough. I might just do a little tiny blip here. Cute, cute. I'm going to add that little yellow flower. And then I'm excited to do some trim here with those little tiny sequins. I might wind up making two of these because just the one looks kind of odd. I might do another one. So let's singe the ends and see how that goes. So we're going to take try to find the little strand. So the ribbon weave goes this way and this way. So you have to grab one that's going horizontal. And what will wind up happening is you're going to be probably grabbing the vertical ones until you find a horizontal one. So you'll just have to clean it up by singeing it when you're done. I'm going to get my pliers and see if that will help. So I have my pliers. There we go, I got it. So I'm going to singe that end with my thread zap. I'm going to hold it with my pliers too, it's easier. There's another little flower I can add, just so it doesn't look, I didn't want it to be the focal because that's the only thing you would see is that yellow flower. And this one I could probably scrunch up and make it into a full bloom, but kind of like the half, like that, see? Let's see how it looks up here. Not sure I like that. Oh, maybe. I don't know if I like any one of those. I do like the yellow. I just don't know if that's just a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to not put them down just yet. It could be that I could do it down here maybe. But I'm going to go ahead and sew the sequins on, and since everything is so tiny, I'm going to get a little piece of felt or something to hold my sequins, and I'm going to also add beads. And then I'm just going to leave these to the side. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. Okay. So I picked out some sequins and some beads that I'm going to use. I've already kind of set them down on here just to see. They're super cute, tiny. I had used sequins in a couple videos before. I like this company. It's called Cartwright's Sequins. Cartwright.com CC. And they have a bazillion colors and sizes. I like this company because the sequins are super tiny. These are really pretty. They're a satin pink. They're called Blush 3mm fully cupped satin, meaning they're like a little bowl. They're not flat. So I think that'll look cute with this. And I'm using size 15 Japanese seed beads. You're going to need a needle that fits through this size, so as long as it's skinny enough, usually a bead needle, and this fits right through. I like using Fireline for my beading, but a lot of people use, just Silamide. I think that's what it's called. It's just a thread for beading. So I like this. It's almost invisible. and I've already threaded it through my needle, and I'm going to knot it at the end just like I showed you with the embroidery. So I'm taking the thread and lining it up to my needle, and I'm going to wrap it a few times around and then grab that wrap and then pull it all the way down till there's a knot. Okay, I have a little area of, I set down some felt here, and I'm probably gonna put my sequins in here in this little container. I have some beading boards, but they're full. They just have projects on them, and I didn't feel like taking them off. So I'm just gonna do a few pieces on here to start with, and then go off camera and finish it, just so you don't have to watch me. So I am gonna start here in the corner. And add the sequin and push it all the way down. So I've threaded that sequin on there. Now I'm going to grab a bead and I'm going to insert it into the hole of the sequin, and that just locks it in. It locks the sequin in like that. Super cute. And just gonna keep going along here side by side. I was thinking of doing, and I might still do this, adding these really tiny flat sequins. I might do that right now and just see how it looks. If I don't like it, I don't know. Let's see. I might just kind of see what it looks like before I sew it on there. I don't want to put a bunch out because they're kind of hard to put back in. I'm also using a really tiny whatever you call this, tweezers. So I was thinking of putting them every other one in between the satin beads, sequins. But then I'd have to put a bead on there too. That is kind of cute. That. I'll try it. Just make sure that when you're pulling your thread that it goes all the way through, that it doesn't loop in the back. Like, what's going on there? There we go. Yeah, this thread is amazing because it's almost invisible, so it's kind of hard to see. But that's the whole point, right? So. There's some sweet little birds. I don't know if you guys can hear them tweeting outside my window. They sound so cute. So I don't think I can just not add a bead. I'm going to see if I can, but because it kind of flips. I mean, I could. Might go blind by doing this. Let's see what a bead looks like. Can't even really see the green if I do that. So I'm not going to do the bead. So what I did was I just undid my needle and I'll rethread it so I can take out this bead. So I practiced a little before I tortured you by figuring out whether I like this, and I like it. It reminds me of Mary Englebright, and these, the pink sequins with the little tiny green ones, remind me of little rosebuds. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm eyeballing it. So basically what I was trying to figure out to tell you is everything is really close. Like when I put my needle, I'm putting it almost, probably about just a bead's width, meaning these super tiny beads, width from the next. So I'm entering my needle here and just making sure everything's kind of tight, but not so tight that it's going to make everything pucker. And then I'm adding a sequin with a bead. So you see, and you have a little bit of wiggle room before you anchor it down with a bead. So you see it's just butted up against the next sequin. And then I'm going to add a bead and go right down the middle of the middle of the sequin. And by the way, the needle I'm using is really old, so that's why I didn't tell you what size it is. Typically, you can buy beading needles that are size 12 or a size 10, and those will work fine, the modern ones. So, see how cute that is? And then, so the second one, the green one, goes really, I'm entering my needle, again, almost like about a bead's width. It's kind of hard doing this. I was doing it really close to my face and now doing it on the camera, so it's a little bit, I'm trying to figure out where to put the needle. And again, it's, you know, it's fairly close to the bottom of the scallop. Maybe if I do it this way. Yeah, so see how close the needle is to the sequin to get that look. And I put these little sequins in tiny little containers. You can use little bottle caps if you have bottle caps. And see, it's butted up against the sequin here. And I go over on the side of that little tiny green sequin once. And if I don't, I have to do it again, otherwise it's going to flip up. So you're going to go back up through the center of that little tiny sequin. Let me just do this first. And then go on the other side. So you're anchoring it on one side and then the other side. And you're just going to keep doing that. I think it's going to look super cute. It's going to be worth the effort if you like doing tiny stuff like this. I suppose you could glue it as well. Just be really careful. Maybe use some kind of tiny tip applicator to glue this down. I'll do it one more time. My neighbors are being really loud, so I had to keep turning off my camera, so oop, I just dropped all those. Grab a bead. We have a bead on here, you can see that. And that's going to go in the center of this sequin. And I'll do one more green, and then I'm going to go off camera and finish the rest of this because it's really hard to see this, trying to show you close-ups. I'll take another green one. See, that anchors it down on both sides. Alright, so I did a line of the sequins and the beads, and I think it's really cute. I love the way it came out, and I think it's coming along really cute. I also made a bonnet that I may attach, not sure yet. And then I did a bow out of black lace, and I might put that there. So I'm just kind of trying some things out to kind of let you know my thought process, because I know you guys like that. And then that way I'll be able to tack that down to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and tack this white lace down, and I'm going to try to do it so it doesn't show too much. I might just wind up covering the back because it's kind of flimsy. I was thinking it might be kind of cute on a little book or something. Guess I could always glue it too. Okay, so I tacked down the little lace here just with a really tiny stitch, and because the felt is so thick you can barely see, you can just see a little line, but you can't see the thread. And I just used one strand of thread. I didn't double it, and it's just a very thin white regular sewing thread. And then I made this little bow. I think I like that there, and that'll kind of look like a little tie for the back. And also I was looking at the original, and what they did was they just tacked it here, here, and here up at the top. Everything else is open, so I'll wind up doing that with here, that there, so that I can lift up this for needles in here. And it's possible that I just might sew that down. I'm not exactly sure. But no, actually I probably won't. I will use this for needles too. And I'm going to just continue sewing these little sequins on. Okay, so all of the sequins are on. Now I've decided the placement of the little yellow flowers. One's going to be kind of going that way and one's going to be going that way. And I'm just going to tack them down with some single thread, white thread. And then this one is going to be over here. Let me know in the comments down below if this has been relaxing for you. I know it's been very relaxing for me. I've really enjoyed doing this. I might be able to tack this little piece down here. I've decided to put a little bit of lace on her hat, or bonnet I should say. I don't have much thread left, so I'm going to go ahead and put some new thread on. So I'm just going to tack this down. I'm not going to worry about the back because it's going to be tacked down to this part, so I don't need to be real careful about it not showing. And I leave a little extra just in case. Like this one, it moved a little bit, so cut it a little bit longer than you need, and then you can trim it when you're done. It tends to shift sometimes when you're sewing it on the felt. And I cut the edge with the scallop scissors when I cut this out. Just kind of moving it so it's a little bit more even. I'm just going to trim that, and then cute. Doesn't even show up anyway. I guess it's because it's just thick. Just making a knot. Way too cute. That's gonna go there. So now I don't know what color embroidery floss I'll need to tack it down. Maybe I'll use white because there's so many different colors sandwiched in here, you know. It doesn't really show all that much. I kind of have to cover this up. I'm going to make a back piece for this. So I just drew around the pinafore, and I'm going to cut that out and then glue it. I might tack it as well, but I want to make sure that it's not going to show all of the messiness underneath. And I'm going inside the lines, and then I can trim it if I need to. Just going to use PVA glue. And let that dry, so that'll be nice and thick and super cute. I'm gonna clip it so it stays put. I'm not sure how this is gonna work. I've never glued felt before, so. We shall see. So I'm going to trim this a little because it's a little off before I tack down the hat or the bonnet. Yeah, there's not very many tacks on there, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it a little bit more to the front piece because there isn't a bonnet on this one, so it's still a little off. And then this will be just tacked on to two places, but at least the bonnet will be secure on this layer here. I'm also going to tack this down here. I'm using the dark beading thread that I used earlier. It's just, it's quick because I already had some threaded, so this up here. Pin it first, so just in case it shifts. It's going to make sure the trim is the way I want it on the bottom. This isn't dried yet, but I just wanted to see what it looked like. I wish you guys could feel this. It feels very substantial. So yeah, they tacked it in these kind of spots right here, so it's a little bit inconspicuous. So I am tacking it together. I decided to use pink embroidery floss. I'm only doing 2 strands. You can do a little bit more if you want. I'm really loving this. And I'm going to go kind of on the inside where because I don't want the knot to show. Might do it underneath this too. And I'll cut that off. And just make a knot. Do it on this side. here. You always have to make a knot for those of you who aren't familiar with sewing. Just tucking in the little bit from the knot. It's very possible that I might even tack the whole thing down, but I'm just going to do this for right now. Yeah, like this part here, I don't like that. I might just do like a buttonhole stitch down the edges or tack it down. Because, well, I guess it's kind of the same on this. There's only 2 layers though. And then this goes on like this. And that'll still allow the flap to come up. So this would come up like this. I mean, I could do one more here. And then this would come up. So there's 2 layers for needles. And this could if I tacked it down like that there, I wouldn't be able to lift it all the way up. But that's probably okay. Yeah, the thing is this is kind of thick and heavy. So it's going to kind of flip-flop around. I'm thinking I'm going to tack this down here. And then that way it won't flap around and I can still open it for needles. It could also just have one flap where the needles are underneath here and this whole thing is tacked down. So for right now, I think I'm just going to tack the bow on here loosely. Wow, this needle sucks. It's not going through. For some reason, that's so weird. I'm gonna try to do this. So what I wound up doing is I tacked the bow down just to the pink side, and I might put something there because I don't like that because I can see where it was sewn. And then I tacked a little bit of the bow to the pinafore, and that will be better because then this won't flop around, and I'm going to tack probably in two other places with the embroidery floss here and here. And it'll still lift up just a little bit, so there's that spot there, and then there'll be a spot here. I try to hide the knot. Might just weave it under here. Super cute. Alright, she's all done. I hope you enjoyed this. This is something that you could keep doing, you know, adding on to, like making a cute little book from more felt. I just needed to stop because I was just getting kind of obsessed with it. So I think this was a wonderful project. I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned a little bit of some ribbon embroidery. And yeah, so enjoy the pattern, and I hope to see what you make. Sometimes if you'd like, you can always post on my Artsy Bohemian Facebook page to show me anything that you've made from any of my tutorials. So all the links are down below, and I will see you in the next video.